Let's now do some politics here on the show, and he's one of the most experienced in the House of Parliament today. A lawyer by profession, Alban Kingsford Sumani Bagun, currently the majority leader, has been in the House since the start of the Fourth Republic, as far back as in 1993. During the period, he has been minority leader, majority leader, and minister of state. He's known for his outspoken nature and has been criticized, has even had cause to criticize the president where he had to. He's indeed fearless. Well, we will discuss the man, Mr. Bagun, but first, here's a brief montage about him and his work.
Hey, I see you when you get there.
This house cannot fail the people of Ghana. It's now the turn of this house to perform our duty, and we seem to be backtracking. No, Speaker, we must perform that duty, and we must support the decisions of the people of Ghana. We cannot fail the people of Ghana.
The situation so twisted, everybody.
The realization of the national call for constitutional reform,
so you don't get caught slipping when they come to do all the getting. Life is a big game, so you gotta play with it.
The nation,
gotta run a little faster, we gotta
from the pain and waste occasioned by decisions of Parliament,
no matter
such as the disapproval of the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2014. We need to work hard, no complacency, and we have to be vigilant on the election day.
We are looking for protection. We are looking for unity. We are looking for care. We are looking for love. Every day, I will give you control and fish.
But it seems for this election, the competition is becoming fierce. In fact, we know already that the national chairman of the PNC, Mr. Bernard Mona, is actually contesting for that seat in question, the Nadowli Kaleo constituency seat. Well, joining us in the studio today for a quick conversation, and this is the General Secretary of the party of the PNC, Atik Mohammed. Atik, thanks for coming today.
Yeah, thank you.
That's an interesting caption you have on your shirt.
Oh, myself.
Well, we will not talk about that.
Yes, I didn't even realize. We're talking
Nadowli Kaleo today, so let's stay with that.
Yeah,
we know that your party's national chairman is contesting that seat.
Yeah.
As a party, is there a reason you're targeting the seat?
Thank you very much. Let me say good evening to your viewers. I think that the party has set for itself some targets in relation to parliamentary seats, and in our analysis, we came to the conclusion that Nadowli Kaleo is one of the constituencies which we have a comparative advantage over. And so we decided that, look, for whatever it is worth, let's put our best material who we think can win that constituency for us. After a series of consultations, it came out that it is our national chairman who has that which it takes to win the seat for us. And as a political party that has made a promise to itself and to the good people of this country that we are going to increase our representation in Parliament, we decided that he should contest the seat, and we have assured him all our support, and indeed the support has been coming from almost every member of the party. Yes.
Well, this is the first time that your national chairman is contesting for a parliamentary seat.
As far as I remember, yes. The last time we had something close to this was when one of our first vice chairman, Mr. Nadowli, contested, and indeed he went ahead to win. So if history is any indication, I think that our national chairman too is on the way to becoming a member of parliament, because anytime anybody occupying a position of that nature contests, especially a seat to become a member of parliament, the person makes it. So we are fully confident that he is likely to make it.
Because some of the comments that have come up in relation to him is that if he is national chairman of a party, you're looking to win an election in the country. He's more like your head of strategy and brains. So
no, not necessarily.
Why would you have a man who is your national chairman play that role? Whilst thinking about the bigger picture, he's also busy in a constituency trying to win it.
In the first place, I don't even know where those concerns are coming from, because as far as I know, those constituencies are not coming from those concerns are not coming from members of the People's National Convention. And secondly, a national chairman of any political party necessarily is not at the center of strategy and implementation of same. for the most part, what they do is they exercise some oversight of some sort over general administration of the party. The person who really is in charge when it comes to issues of this nature is the general secretary. He is more like the chief executive officer of the party. So issues relating to strategy, issues relating to administration, he generally handles these. So I started to think that the contest of my national chairman will have any serious material impact on the fortunes of our party in this year's election.
And I'm sure you've already heard this. Final point before I get to those in the line who have also been doing some work on the ground in the constituency. We know that there is some concerns about him and a certain gift given to him by Mr. Tony Letha. Yeah. How does the party take this?
Well, I think that the story you just spoke about, to my mind, is a function of desperation that is taking center stage in the campaigns of our opponents, to the extent that one can go to illegally procure documents that are supposed to be confidential in a state institution like DVLA. For me, it's unacceptable. It's highly objectionable.
But is it fact? Whether,
no, I mean, I'm being
never mind how.
May I proceed?
Okay,
thank you. And you see, let's even ignore the illegality in the procurement and so on and so forth. Why, Francis? We are in this business. It is not as if when you are a politician you lose friends in other political parties. The fact that you are a politician contesting to become something in your party doesn't mean that you are automatically barred from having friends. Look, I know people in NPP who have friends in NDC who are sponsoring or supporting their campaigns and vice versa. These are things that happen. We have friends, and beyond the friendship, we do our politics all right, but beyond the politics, we have our friendship.
Okay.
So if you have a friend who realizes that, look, this is a friend who deserves my support and for which reason I'm supporting him, I don't see why people should be stumbling on themselves over this issue. I think it's a non-issue to begin with.
I'll come back to the other examples you know of friends who are able to cross carpet and send their...
Not cross carpet per se, they are still
send their
but in any case,
to any...
It is not established that Tony Lita is a member, is a card-bearing member of the NDC anyway. So
is he of the PNC?
He's not. He's a lawyer by profession. He's a successful lawyer who has somewhere without to support a friend, and he has done so.
He's done that. Okay, that's fine. We will continue this part of the conversation. But joining us on the line now is the Upper West regional correspondent, Rafiq Salami. He's been doing some work on the ground in that constituency. We're also joined on the line by a member of the campaign team of Mr. Alban Bagbing in the person of Joseph Kanuba. He is joining us on the line. But thank you, gentlemen, for your time this afternoon. I will begin with you, Mr. Joseph Kanuba. We know that from Mr. Bagbing, he's launching his campaign in the constituency sometime this week. How are things shaping up on the ground? We know that the contest is quite fierce, but how is it shaping up on the ground?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I want to thank your station for giving us this opportunity, and thank your hard-working correspondent, Rafiq Salami, in the region. Things are shaping up well. We are tidying up our preparations for the launch of our campaign that changing lives, transforming Nadowli Kaleo constituency. And as far as we are concerned, this is going to be the easiest elections for us. The people are going to come in their numbers, and it will be an indication of the amount of votes that will be in the ballot box come December 7th.
Well, you seem quite aggressive this time, some would say, in your approach to this. Already this week, we've seen the General Secretary, we've seen the Chief of Staff, we've seen other top-ranking officials of the NDC come to the constituency even ahead of the campaign launch. Is that something that your candidate is fearing with just 2 months to go to the elections?
The Chief of Staff, the General Secretary and his deputy are in the region, not in the constituency. But they have been to Nadowli Kaleo, haven't they? Nadowli Kaleo is a part of the region. They are touring the region alongside other activities. You know, the NDC has a well laid out plan. The NDC is a focused party. In fact, the NDC is the most focused political party today that has laid down a plan of action and is strictly adhering to it. Over this weekend is launch of our 3 campaign for 3 MPs. So they are here as part of that event and those events, and also to move around the region to take courtesy call and give due respect to to the chiefs and traditional rulers of this land. So basically, they didn't come only to Nadowli Kaleo constituency. They came to the whole region, which Nadowli Kaleo constituency is part of.
But for the General Secretary to make specific mention of that constituency and the fact that if anyone comes with any news suggesting that there's a certain underhand deal to get Mr. Gbagban out of office, is only a ploy by a traitor, that means that there should be some groundswell of action happening that is threatening the candidacy of Mr. Gbagban, isn't it?
The General Secretary made those comments at an event in the constituency. Every visit to a constituency has peculiar issues. These are the peculiar issues he addressed at that event because it happened in that constituency. And the political demography is that constituency. That was why he made those specific statements. And they are not far-reaching, they are real. The NPP is trying to use our own hands, excuse me to say, to cut feces for us to eat. And this has been identified and it has been detailed. Those comments were made at that particular constituency because it was in Honorable Gbagban's constituency. Other similar comments were made in other constituencies depending on the situation surrounding that constituency. Those constituencies.
Okay, Joseph, stay online for me for just a moment because we just want to understand what's happening in the constituency as well. Rafik is on the line with us. Rafik, good afternoon to you. You've been monitoring things on the ground since the campaign started in the Nadowli Kaleo constituency. How are things looking? What kind of campaigning are we seeing on the ground in the constituency?
I tell you that the kind of campaign that we are going to witness in the Nadowli Kaleo constituency is going to be one that will be very competitive, that will be very intense, considering the number of people who are contesting in this year's election. Remember, we talk about Honorable Alban Gbagban, who has been in Parliament for close to 24 years. We talk about the Bernard Ambata Mona, who tried a couple of times in the West Central constituency and couldn't win. Now we are caught to the Nadowli constituency to contest. Remember, Bernard Ambata Mona is from the constituency. He was born at Adaka in Accra, but he came from Sankana, which is in the Nadowli Kaleo constituency. So he has that right to contest in that particular constituency. And you have this man from the MPP called Ellis, but I prefer to call him a new entrant. He's 27 years of age, very intelligent. And then also, remember the MPP, they had a candidate in 2012 against Gbagban, and the difference between him and an Alban Gbagban was about 2,000 votes. And so a lot was expected from Dr. Robertson Bolbandi to give Honorable Gbagban a good run for his money, but unfortunately, he got ill and he had to pull out of race. And so just some 2 months ago, MPP went into primary by consensus. They have Elvis Bota, 27-year-old, to contest against Gbagban and then also Bernard Ambata Mona. So it's going to be an intense one, a very competitive one in the constituency, and a lot of people are looking up to that particular race.
Rafik, last point is about what issues are informing the decision of who to vote for in this year's election. Now, I'm sure by now the conversations may have already begun in small pockets in the community. What are some of the things that they speak quite highly about, the concerns they have and the things they will look at in voting?
I'm talking from the opposition side. One major campaign the opposition are seeking against Alban Gbagban is that he's been in power for far too long, and then they want him to go away. And that's one major campaign of the opposition. And then also, you also have Alban Gbagban also saying that the longer, the better. And he's been in Parliament for 24 years, and then he's been able to do everything for the constituency, and he doesn't need to be seen. And so basically, these are the issues that they are talking about. But apart from this, they are talking about the issue of roads, the issue of electricity. And I can tell you that if you meet Honorable Alban Gbagban their side, they will tell you that somewhere around 1993, 1993 up to now, you see a graphic picture of the local how it was, and that's the Gbagban will tell you that you have to put them on their back. But other people are saying that he has stayed in power for far too long, and then he needs to go. And so, but the major concern now in that particular constituency has to do with Babylon's long term in parliament. It has to do with
need for change.
it has to do with education, and then also the issue of road. But these are the issues that are coming out.
Okay, let me pick the final word from the member of the campaign team from Mr. Robin, just before I wrap with Mr. Atik Mohammed in the studio. Joseph, if you're still with us on the line, what will be that message to convince anyone who is in the constituency that Mr. Bagman still remains the credible candidate for the seat, which he's been holding since 1993?
I first of all want to start on a point of correction. If you could make a producer check the facts of the last elections, the gap between Honorable Dublin and Dr. Boybandi was not 2,000. I can't get the exact figure, but it was almost 4,000. That's a fact that can be checked.
I'll check that fact shortly.
Yes.
You can proceed.
In the spirit of the Constitution, in the letter of the Constitution, there is no term limit for an MP. In the spirit of the Constitution, envisaged by the framers of the Constitution, they have seen and they have foreseen that the longer the tenure of parliamentarians, the more beneficial they are to the state and to the communities themselves. World politics is indicative of this. You can get MPs in parliament as old as 50 to 60 years.
But to hold a seat for more than 20 years is anything that anyone would say that it's quite a stranglehold. Let someone else take it.
He doesn't go, with all due apologies, he doesn't go to parliament with a barrel of the gun. It's the people who overwhelmingly endorse him. They want him there because when he was taken over, all the indicators, water, health, electricity, peace and security, were all zero. In fact, Nadowli Kaleo constituency was one of the constituencies that you could run through without knowing that there was even a district capital there. By the close of this year, we will be having over 80% coverage of potable water, 90% coverage of electricity. We have 5 senior high schools in Nadowli Kaleo. We have a training college in Nadowli Kaleo. We have the best district hospital in the whole region in Nadowli Kaleo.
And that's why we should stay for 4 more years.
These are the basic things that the people are looking at.
Okay.
These are the basic things that these people will look at and maintain. And to conclude, I will want to state that Mr. General Secretary of the PNC should also do some cross-checking. I believe that he has read the news of late and today. It is not by consensus, it is not by broader consultation that Bernard Mona decided or has been chosen to contest member of parliament in Nadowli Kaleo. Indeed, there are strong objections to his candidature.
By whom?
This has been carried by if you heard the news today and in
objections by whom? Since you know, tell us who they are.
By the former parliamentary candidate, Mr. Jutpan, and who have been holding the party alive in the constituency. When Bernard Mona was in a self-imposed exile in West Central to contest for MPship, they have stated that he has disregarded them, he has not respected them, and indeed, his parading of himself as a parliamentary candidate is illegal because there hasn't been any confirmation at the Delegates Congress of his candidature, even though he's the only one who filed his nomination at the close of the day.
Okay.
I think he should do some fact checks about it and put his party in order. That is the more reason why people think that Bernard Mona should concentrate in building his weak PNC than in following his MPship personal ambitions.
All right. Joseph Kweneba, thank you for your time. He's a member of the campaign team for Alban Bagman, speaking to us from the Nadowli Kaleo constituency. Atik, let me wrap up the conversation on the Nadowli Kaleo seat with you. Yes, Mr. Mona wants to contest for this seat. He wants to win it. What will happen if you don't? If you don't win the seat?
There's no way we are not winning. And from the tone of the person purporting to be speaking for Babin, it is obvious that they've lost the seat already. I mean, to the extent that he's all worked up about happenings within my party. Look, the PNC, and I'm surprised that he wants to tell me things that happened in the party I superintend over, that there was no party primary. It's not true. Or that the former, you see, we are aware of the schemes of some of these individuals, planting stories, claiming they are coming from youth groups within the party, non-existent groups, and so on and so forth. So for me, and he's made the point that, look, I've been to the constituency, and I would wish that your team at some point would get the opportunity to be there. My brother, I mean, it is true the North is deprived, but Nadowli Kaleo is particularly deprived. It's exceptionally deprived. You have only one third road, at least my experience in the constituency. And that road is not a road that is constructed purposely for the people of Nadowli. It is a road that is running from Wa to Jirapa. And so they had the benefit because Nadowli is situated between Jirapa and then Wa. That is how come that third road passes through Nadowli. Beyond that, you hardly see any infrastructure that is befitting of the status that Alban Suman Obagbin has built. You know, he's interested in building personal reputation. This personality cult is all he's interested in doing. And you have individuals who have grown, people like Bernard, they are indigenes of the area. They've attended school in that area. They've grown up in that area. They know how it was when they were going to school. And they've seen how the constituency has been left underdeveloped over the period. And they are saying to themselves, look, we cannot be in Accra talking national when at the micro level things are not being done right. And
what's the bigger motivation for the PNC to win this particular seat of all seats in the country?
You see, we have motivation to win all the seats we want to win. And this one is particularly interesting because it is going to reinforce the message we've been selling. That look, you keep oscillating between two uncomfortable alternatives, the NPP and the NDC. And they are the ones responsible for our underdevelopment. We've been voting for hardships over the period. The time has come for us to give you an alternative. Then you can get to have a taste of development. And that is what is getting these guys worked up. Go to Nadowli, the message is one and the same, that change is happening. And change to the effect that, and that is what is getting people like Mr. Bagbin worked up, sending all kinds of delegations. He's pretending that they went there to do a regional tour. Of all the regions that demand the presence of these individuals, it is Upper West and particularly Nadowli that they chose to go. And what did they say? That the NPP is using their own ranks, whatever that means. I am telling you that by the close of the polls on December 7th, you would have, in fact, you give me a call and tell me that I told you that the name that people think is a very big name in the North and that it is more like an immutable name in politics and that it is difficult to defeat. You call and tell me that that name was defeated by none other than Mr. Bernard Mona. Okay. It is happening.
Okay. I think thank you for coming today. He's the General Secretary of the PNC.
But just a point of concern. I think, you know, in the course of this conversation, I saw that you were only flashing the pictures and motion pictures of only Mr. Bagbin. Somebody who is losing should not be giving his publicity.
I'm sure if we have seen from Mr. Mona in the constituency doing some work, we'll certainly use it.
You were not showing his pictures in the constituency.
We showed that from his constituency.
No, party rallies, manifesto launching in his constituency. Are you suggesting? No. Why Aruna is not in his constituency?
Point well taken.
Good faith point, yeah.
Point
well give us fair,
okay, sure, that's fine. Thank you, Atik, for coming.
Thank you,
General Secretary of the PNC.